Stage 1. Discovery. You are huddled deep within the damp darkness of your cave, shivering as the freezing wind howls across the desolate tundra outside. The fire in the center of the cavern has flickered out, leaving only a pile of smoldering, gray ash and a few charred, blackened remnants of branches you dragged in from the forest earlier today. You crawl forward on your hands and knees, your skin scraping against the cold, jagged stone floor, seeking the last bit of warmth. As your fingers brush against the remnants of the hearth, a thick, acrid cloud of gray smoke rises suddenly into your face, stinging your eyes and forcing you to cough violently. You retreat, gasping for air, but the scent that hangs in the air is heavy and strangely captivating. It is the smell of the forest itself, concentrated and burnt. You lean back in, curious, and take a deeper breath, letting the pungent plume fill your lungs. It is harsh, biting at the back of your throat, and it makes your head spin with a sudden, dizzying sensation that you have never felt before. You are not just breathing the air, you are consuming the very essence of the tree that once grew tall in the valley. The world around you seems to soften, the biting cold of the cave floor becoming less immediate as your focus narrows to the glowing ember still trapped inside a piece of wood. You pick it up, turning it over in your calloused palms, watching the thin, white trail of vapor rise and drift toward the ceiling of the cave. You realize that you can control this. You pull the smoking stick closer to your mouth, experimenting with the way the air flows. You pull hard, and the heat intensifies, a wave of lightheadedness washing over you that makes the hunger in your stomach seem a little quieter. This is not fire for heat, and it is not fire for cooking. It is fire for something else, something internal. You sit there for hours, mesmerized by the way the smoke curls and dances in the dim light, feeling as though you have tapped into a secret power that the beasts outside could never comprehend. You feel older, wiser, and strangely detached from the harsh reality of your survival, as if the smoke is building a wall between you and the brutal world. Stage 2. Inhalation. The novelty of the smoldering branch has evolved into a deliberate act. You have discovered that it is not enough to simply sit near the smoke. You must invite it into your very core. You stand at the edge of the clearing, the sun beginning to dip below the jagged horizon, casting long, sharp shadows across the tall, dry grass. You have found a cluster of dried herbs, their leaves brittle and coated in a fine silver dust. You lay them carefully onto a heated stone, watching as they begin to darken and curl, releasing a fragrant, sharp vapor. You cup your hands around the stone, creating a small, enclosed chamber, and you lean down until your lips are inches from the surface. You inhale slowly, deeply, pulling the essence of the plants into your chest. The sensation is sharp, a jagged line of heat that travels from your mouth down into your lungs, expanding them in a way that feels heavy and satisfying. You hold the breath, feeling the pulse in your neck slow down, the frantic rhythm of your heart steadying under the influence of the earth's burnt offering. The plants possess a spirit, and you are taking that spirit into yourself. As you exhale, a thick white cloud billows out, hanging motionless in the stagnant air. You do this again and again, watching the world blur at the edges, the sharpness of the trees and the coldness of the wind losing their bite. Your senses are heightened and dulled all at once. You hear the snapping of a twig 100 paces away with terrifying clarity, yet you feel as though you are floating, untethered from the ground. You have become a vessel for the smoke, a human chimney carrying the fire within. The repetition of the act is intoxicating. You are no longer just a hunter searching for meat. You are a shaman of the vapor, a keeper of the breath that brings tranquility to a mind that is constantly haunted by the threat of death. You feel the smoke coating your throat, a constant, dry reminder that you have found a way to alter the way you perceive the very air you breathe. Stage 3. Containment. You have moved beyond simple sticks and stones. You now require a vessel. You sit by the riverbank, your hands working rhythmically to hollow out a piece of soft, damp wood, crafting a primitive tube that can focus the smoke into a concentrated stream. You have gathered the most pungent leaves you could find, ones that taste of earth and bitter sap. You pack them into the end of your wooden tube, pressing them down with a small, smooth pebble. You strike a piece of flint against pyrite, catching a spark in the dried moss you have prepared, and you touch the glowing point to the leaves. You bring the tube to your lips, the wood tasting of ancient dampness and resin. As you draw on the tube, the smoke is no longer diffused. It is a solid, focused shaft of power. You pull it into your mouth, holding it there, tasting the complexity of the burnt material, feeling the thick, warm pressure against your tongue. You do not exhale immediately. You hold the smoke in your cheeks, letting it circulate, feeling the subtle numbing effect as the volatile oils of the leaves take hold of your nerves. You are learning the art of patience. The smoke is a guest you have invited inside, and you want it to linger. You feel the weight of it in your body, a grounding sensation that makes the rushing water of the river seem like it is moving in slow motion. You are no longer just surviving. You are experimenting with the limits of your own consciousness. You look at your companions, who are busy skinning a kill, their movements frantic and loud. You feel a sense of pity for them. They are trapped in the urgency of the moment, while you are adrift in the cloud, observing the world from a distance that feels safe and untouchable. You are the master of the pipe, the one who has figured out how to carry the fire in your pocket and release it at your whim, turning the act of breathing into a deliberate, ritualized experience. Stage 4, Resin. The residue has become your obsession. You have been smoking for so long that your fingers are permanently stained, covered in a dark, sticky film that smells of deep, heavy earth. You have discovered that this substance, the black, oily byproduct of the burning process, holds the strongest power of all. You scrape it from the inside of your wooden tubes, collecting the thick, dark paste on a flat piece of slate. It is potent, concentrated, and overwhelming. You smear a small amount onto a fresh leaf, roll it up, and light it, watching as the smoke thickens into a golden, heavy cloud that clings to your lungs like a physical weight. When you draw this in, the world doesn't just blur, it shifts entirely. Your vision ripples like the surface of a pond disturbed by a stone. The sounds of the forest, the chatter of the birds, the rustle of the wind, become a rhythmic, driving beat that pulses in your veins. You feel a profound, heavy lethargy settle into your limbs, making it impossible to move, but your mind is racing, spinning through memories and patterns you had long forgotten. You are chasing the deepest part of the smoke, the essence that lingers in the residue. You have learned that the plants have layers, and the smoke is just the messenger that delivers the heavy, concentrated truth to your brain. You spend hours in the dark, scraping and burning, refining your method, finding the perfect balance of heat and material to extract the maximum amount of this dark, sticky magic. You are no longer the same being who first shivered in the cave. You have changed your chemistry, adapting your internal world to the harsh, burning reality of the leaves you have chosen to master. You are the resin keeper, the one who knows that the best parts are not found on the surface, but are hidden within the burnt, blackened crust of the past. Stage 5, Ritualization. Smoking is no longer a solitary indulgence. It has become the center of your existence. You have marked out a circle in the sand, surrounding yourself with the plants you have gathered from across the valley. You do not just smoke, you prepare. You clean your tubes, you dry your leaves, and you wait for the wind to die down so the smoke can rise straight up toward the sky. You invite the others to join you, not to share the labor of the hunt, but to share the smoke. You ignite the communal fire, and as the plume rises, you lead the rhythm. You hold your breath, then release it in a slow, steady stream, watching as the others follow your lead. The air becomes thick and hazy, the atmosphere in the circle growing heavy with the scent of burning herbs and the collective, slowed breathing of your tribe. You feel a deep, spiritual connection to the plants, as if you are honoring them by consuming their spirit. You chant, a low, guttural sound that vibrates in your chest, matching the slow, heavy thumping of your heart. The smoke acts as a bridge, connecting you to the ancestors, to the spirits of the animals you hunt, and to the earth that provides for you. You have learned that the smoke can speak, that it can tell you where the herds have moved or when the rains will come. You are the guide, the one who uses the fire to see beyond the veil. When you smoke now, you are participating in a conversation that has been happening since the beginning of time. You look into the eyes of your fellow travelers and see the same dull, reflective glint of someone who is drifting in the same current as you. The ritual gives you a sense of order in a world that is otherwise chaotic. You have created a structure out of the vapor, a set of rules and behaviors that define your tribe and set you apart. You are the guardian of the cloud, and as long as the fire burns and the smoke rises, you know that you are safe in the embrace of the ritual. Stage 6. Integration. The act of smoking is as essential to you as the beating of your heart. It is the first thing you think of when you wake, the air in the cave feeling empty and thin until you have lit your pipe. It is the last thing you do before you sleep, the smoke acting as a blanket that shields you from the terror of the night. You have integrated the smoke into every facet of your life. It is there when you plan a hunt, the vapor helping you visualize the path of the deer. It is there when you mourn the dead, the white plumes acting as a prayer for their transition. It is there when you celebrate, the thick, acrid air marking the passage of time and the strength of your people. You have become synonymous with the fire and the herb. Your clothes, your skin, and even your hair carry the permanent, ingrained scent of the burnt leaves. You have reached a point where you cannot distinguish between your own thoughts and the influence of the smoke. It has woven itself into your nervous system, becoming the lens through which you see every aspect of the world. You are a creature of the smoke, existing in a state of perpetual, hazy awareness. The fear that once drove your ancestors has been replaced by a deep, unwavering calm. You know that no matter what happens, you have the smoke. It is your companion, your medicine, and your truth. You sit at the mouth of the cave, watching the sunrise paint the sky in colors you can only perceive through the filter of your habit. You draw the smoke in, feeling it settle into your lungs with a familiar, comforting weight. You are the bridge between the earth and the fire, a human embodiment of the transformation. You have mastered the art of survival by mastering the art of the cloud, and you know, with the certainty of one who has seen the world through 1,000 burning embers, that you will continue to breathe this fire until the day the last of your strength fades and you return to the very earth that gave you the leaves in the first place. This is not just a habit, it is your identity, your legacy, and your final, lingering breath in a world that only makes sense when it is seen through the haze.